So say, someone says, "Oh, that sounds really good." I mean, you said a lot of things that I'm sure have resonated with our colleagues, but they may say, "Well, okay, you're running against the most powerful elected official in the country, right? And so, like, how's this going to work? Like, how's this possible? Like, explain that, I should get involved here. Help me,
Sure, yeah.
see myself in there."
Of course. So I expect that question to come a lot. Why are you running against Nancy Pelosi? Well, I'd want to be very clear that being born and raised in this area, I respect her very much. I respect all our public officials. But this race isn't against one person. It's not against one representative or the former Speaker of the House. It's the idea that Congress is out of touch with the American people. It has a 13% approval rating. Well, I had a conversation in DC when I was there announcing with somebody who works on the Hill, and he gave me very good advice. He said that the demographics of this country are consistently changing. The districts are consistently changing, but our representation is staying the same. So there's a disconnect. So I think the role of our representatives is to build that foundation and to pass on the torch to the next generation so we can build on it. And I think there should be term limits. I respect the leader Pelosi very much, but at the end of the day, the party needs to change, and I figured what's the best way to change the party? To go up against the party and to create a national dialogue. Who knows if we'll win? We may not, but I think the victory is getting to the general election and seeing what happens and asking her nicely to a debate. I think it's important that if you are a public servant, that you have to be accountable to your people, and it's frankly unacceptable to be in office for 31 years and not come back for a debate. You need to. And 2018 isn't the time where you can stay in Washington and not have a debate. I think that would be the greatest honor of my lifetime, to shake hands with the former Speaker of the House and to share a stage and say, look, this is what the people of San Francisco need, and then allowing the people of San Francisco to decide what route they want to. And if we lose the election, I would love, to work with her to pass universal health care one day. And that's kind of how we see it. And I hope to encourage a lot of other people to primary the incumbents. Because while we do need to run against Republicans, we should also have Democrats run against Democrats to hold the Democrats accountable. That if your district is saying these things and you're not, either you change or you get challenged. And I think that is what we need to do going forward. And it's a two-step formula. Flipping red districts blue and flipping the blue equals taking back the House, taking back the Senate, and taking back the White House. And I think that's just common sense. And one thing I always like to say, and is kind of true going back through history, common sense has always been radical for its time. It just makes sense to do it. If you're not representing your people, maybe it's time for you to go. So I think what we want to try to do is frame ourselves as a viable contender under the age of 35. Because right now in this race, you have certain individuals who don't necessarily represent the young voice. They don't represent the student voice. They don't represent the immigrant voice. They don't represent a diverse voice at all. So I figured because of this void, it was appropriate for someone to jump in. I wish there would be someone who was already elected to jump in, but the thing is, no one is because they owe something to the party. And it's true, you can't go up against the leader of your party if you're part of the party. So might as well have somebody who doesn't owe anything to anybody to do it, to be able to strengthen our democracy. Because that's what it's about, running and making sure that people actually represent your constituencies.